our next installment of Frog Dog Friday, episode 7. Today we're going to be talking about using food in training. Typically when we use food in training, there's a lot of different myths out there. Some people absolutely love it. Some people are adamantly against it. We use it all of the time. Why do we use it all the time? Because it's a primary reinforcer, which means that it's something that the dog absolutely must have and they find generally very reinforcing. I hear a lot of people talk about, my dog's not food motivated, my dog doesn't care about treats, my dog would rather do X, Y, Z, they don't care, I've tried every treat there is. If your dog is alive, it is because they have motivation to eat in whatever capacity that is. Let me turn my air off or down just a little bit so you make sure you can hear me a little better. Alright, so if your dog is alive today, it is because they have some form of motivation for food. They have to eat to survive. So one of the things that we like doing, and I know I've talked about this in episodes 1 through 6 of how we teach our Say Yes to Your Dog exercise, is we use their meals throughout their everyday training. We teach the dogs how to learn to earn, and they earn that food just like I have to come to work every day, put food on my table. It's the same thing for our dogs. We want to create a solid work ethic with them. We want to teach them that food is ultimate thing that you can have and that you can earn. Now, some dogs enjoy affection. Some dogs enjoy food. Some dogs enjoy play, whether it's with toy, tug, fetch, the chase me games with the flirt poles, things like that. Personal play. I love personal play, and we get to run around and kind of bat at the dog. Oh, I know, yeah, right? And my dog's going to jump up towards me, and we get to do all of this stuff. And they get really into it. Yes, good boy. And then, of course, other dogs really enjoy working for different things like, they enjoy working for different things, space, going on a walk, what they kind of call Premack principle, using the everyday things that they want in life as their rewards. So there's a lot of different options. We call those things life rewards. Life rewards are food, affection, play, and space. We're going to talk about the food aspect today because we can use it in so many capacities. We can use it to teach a dog how to calm down, or we can use it to teach them how to amp up and get excited and really motivated into what we want to do. In the beginning, we start using a dog's kibble. Once a dog is really comfortable, generally comfortable using their kibble as a reward, we can start mixing in higher value rewards, things like that as well, to really up the motivation for them. Every single one of my personal dogs will work extremely hard, do anything that they can for a piece of single kibble, right? Now imagine the kind of motivation I can get out of them if I up it to something that's even more high value and more rewarding, like a food roll or some string cheese, some hot dogs, something along those lines. We want to make it something that the dog likes. When we talk about food, we need to realize that just like us, I don't like sushi, my husband loves sushi, right? Dogs have preferences. And if we're trying to force a dog to eat sushi, or theoretical or hypothetical sushi in their eyes, and they don't like it, we're not going to get very far. So if we're trying in the beginning to get our dog to eat a piece of kibble that's kind of a lower quality, real bland, we're probably not going to get a lot out of them. So when we start using food, I want to make sure that it's something that the dog actually enjoys. Typically, I say off of dogfoodadvisor.com, anything that's a 4.5 or 5 star. There are some exceptions. I don't like, for instance, Blue Buffalo, even though it's rated pretty high. There have been a ton of recalls. Dogs have been getting sick off of it, so I won't touch that stuff with a 10-foot pole. But Origin, Akana, From, Wellness Core, Victor High Pro Plus is one of the foods that we feed all of our dogs right now. There's a lot of different high-quality foods out there that are really stinky. They're a great size kibble to use in training, things like that. But basically, the dogs enjoy it. Now, we get dogs that come in and the owner brings us From, for instance, and that dog will turn its nose up at From. So I'll go grab Akana or Origin, and all of a sudden that dog is working very hard for this other type of kibble. Now, I don't attribute that to the dog trying to pull a fast one on me. I attribute it to that dog really just didn't give a crap about the other kind of kibble, and this is something that they really enjoy working for. So we have to realize that the dog gets to dictate what they enjoy and what they don't. All right? And that's something that's really a tough concept out there that I don't get to say what Frankie likes. Frankie gets to say what Frankie likes. If somebody tried to make me eat sushi, it's not going to happen, and I'm not going to enjoy it, and I'm not going to be thrilled about it. But if you give me, something like a steak, you're going to get much further with me and my motivation to work for something. So if anybody wants to bribe me, I like steak, something to keep in mind. But that's generally what we want to think about when we're working with our dogs and their food. Oh boy. By the way, guys, this is Frankie. Frankie's one of our personal dogs. He was our first foster failure that we had. He came from animal control here in Tucson. When we first got him, he was an absolute wreck. Terrified, fearful of everything, people, life, objects, didn't matter. He wouldn't even make eye contact. He wouldn't come anywhere near anybody. He was a huge flight risk, and we know that because he got lost for a full day, and my border collie had to carry him back in from the desert. So that was pretty scary. He's kept night and day. And guess how we did that? Using food. It's one of the biggest things that he really, really enjoyed, and it really helped build his confidence and his trust in people. So the things that I want to cover today, though, are how to use food in training. So how to play with it. There's multiple different ways you can use food for chase, for luring. You can use it for catching. You can use it for all of these different types of things. We want to use it to teach it and how to create memories in the dog's brain. So when they do something right, the memory, the reward event that follows is what's going to stick out to them. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. And if you have questions, let me know. By the way, guys, I'm attempting to video this by myself again, so hopefully I don't cut my own head off. I'm pretty sure I did a good job this time. If I walk over there, I won't be able to tell anyway, because I won't be here. So those are the things that we want to be able to cover today. When we talk about holding food, there's a very specific way. A lot of people will typically do this when they hold food. I'm going to get a little bit closer so you can see it. A lot of people are going to try to hold food like this, the very tips of their fingers. Frankie, oh, hi, here, buddy. Right? So when they go to grab it, it's a very high, he's pretty soft, but it's a high potential that your fingers can get bit if you have a little bit more of a drivey dog when they're working to grab that food. So that's a big no-no, right? I don't want to come out with a dog like this. I also have very little control over that food. When I work with a dog, there's a very specific way I hold food. So, got my hand, and right in the crook of my pointer finger and my middle finger, if I separate them, right, give the peace sign, that's where I generally want to be placing my food. All right, let me make sure that you guys can see me just fine. Hey, look, you can. All right, so that's generally where I want to be placing my food, right in the crook of my middle finger and my pointer finger. From there, I'm going to place my thumb partially over the food, okay? So it's the edge of the inner edge of my thumb is going to be covering that food part way. Now, if you notice what happens when I hold the food like this, you can see it all right, is I've created kind of a little cup right in my hand. And the reason that this is so important is because when the dog's face comes in here to grab that food, they can nibble at it, right? But their nose sits right inside of that little cup that I've created in my hand, all right? And my dog can nibble, nibble. They can actually get some, right? He's chewing little pieces off of that right now, but it keeps him motivated. Yes. And when I want him to have that, I can say, why, yes, and I just roll my thumb right off of the food. So every time you see me rewarding my dog, good boy, every time you see me rewarding my dog, that's exactly what's happening. He's right in that little cup that I've created in my hand. He's nibbling at the food. He can get some of it, so it keeps him interested and engaged, but he doesn't get the full piece unless I want him to. Yes. And I can say Y-E-S and roll my thumb right off of it. Right? Why is this important? Well, for one, come here, bud. For one, this is important because it makes luring, right, really, really easy, right? So it creates movement with the dog. Two, it keeps my dog from really biting my hands, and I can stay safe, all right? Some dogs will turn their heads one way or another, and I just kind of flick them off and make them readjust, yes. And if I have to, I will keep rewarding or flick them off, right? Say, no, got to come back in and try again, yes. And I can reward for proper head placement for grabbing food. That would be a really early stage type of training before I did a whole lot else, if you have to. But this way, I can start using food to create chase in my my dogs. Yes, notice how eager he stays, and notice how fluid it looks when I'm rewarding him. All right? I can create a nice heel position. I can change direction very quickly. I can create speed. Whew, good boy. Right? And I can keep my dog very easy to be eager and engaged with me. Right? He enjoys playing this game. It makes it really, really nice to be able to offer a lot of different types of lures. Yes. Right? Bringing his head up, being able to move him. But what's most fun is when we can do food play. So I'm going to talk about the different kinds where we can use it as a food lure, right? Where the dog is chasing the food in my hand. Good boy. Nice and easy. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they're way ahead of their dog, right? My dog is going to lose interest if he has no possibility of being able to catch my hand. Now, if I go at my dog's pace, and he's on my hand nibbling, right? And he has that incentive to keep trying because it's right there. Yes, right? I can say yes and feed him when he really digs in and really pushes. Boy, all right? So this is the lure part of a reward. So after I say YES, boy, I can start playing with my dog in this reward series. And you can see I can create flips and turns. Very, very simple with this as well. Good boy. So that's just one piece of how we can reward our dog with food. There's another. I've never done the catch with him, so I can't promise he's going to be great at it. But being able to toss it, not great at it. Frankie. Good boy. But I have to be able to start building it up so that way he understands how to catch it. Ready? Oh, he tried that time. The first 2 times he had no idea. That time he actually tried. Good. That time he almost caught it. Ready? Right? A lot of dogs really like this game. If I have a... Yes, good boy. If I have a really flat dog, and what I mean by flat is not a lot of motivation. Hold on one second, guys. Good boy. Sorry, we have a dog getting picked up right now. It's going to get loud because Christopher has to open the gate, so just give it a second. Boy. Right? If I have a really flat dog, this is the way that I can help bring them up with it. Right? Their head's coming up, they're wanting to jump, they're wanting to engage a little bit more. So playing this catch game is a really, oh, good boy, is a really great way to use food. This is one that I don't see utilized a whole lot. I see a lot of people use it kind of as a parlor trick with their dogs, like, oh yeah, my dog can catch food. Yes, good boy. But this is a way we can create a reward event at the end of your dog doing the performance for you of whatever the case is, whether you're doing say yes, or you're doing obedience routine, or maybe your dog just, is normally reactive and didn't care that a dog walked by. It's a really great way to help build that dog up. Really focus and say, where's the next reward going to happen? If I simply become room service for my dog, and by room service I mean, my dog comes in, he's engaged, I say YES, yes, and I just come in. How fun was that? How much interest did my dog have, right? He's pretty interested because he understands how the game is played, he enjoys engaging with me, but it becomes pretty mundane if I'm always just bringing the food to my dog. So this is what we call room service. I never do room service unless I'm working on a stay. Hold on, guys, it's going to get loud just a second. Thank you. Typically, the only time I do room service is if I'm trying to create a really strong stay, where I want my dog to stay in position. Otherwise, I'm not going to do room service because I always want that dog following me, right? I always want the dog moving to get that food. Away, right? So catch is another great way to build up a flat dog. It's another really great way for them to say, hey, where's that next piece coming from? To create a reward event for the dog. It's not enough that I can just bring a piece of food to my dog or say, oh yeah, sure, here you go. Not that exciting. I want my dog to really be into this and engage. So we have the lure part, all right? We have the catch part. The next part that we like to do is what we call the chase part, right? So chase is where I simply roll the food on the ground, right? And let my dog run after it. Now, right now, I'm rolling it in a pretty short cycle because Frankie's like, oh, am I supposed to actually be going and getting that? The boy. So, the more I can build this up with him, the more fun it can become. I'm sure you guys all know, or if you don't, you're about to find out, that every dog plays in different ways. Some dogs enjoy, some dogs enjoy the possession. Some dogs enjoy that possession consumption of food or toy, whatever it is, right? Some dogs enjoy the chase of it, right? You can throw a ball and they will run out there, good boy, and they will run out there, and as soon as that ball stops moving, they stop caring, right? Some dogs enjoy the retrieving part of it. I'm sure you can guess what kind of breeds that is. Typically those are the retrievers, right? They enjoy going out, gathering it, bringing it back, and saying, let's do that again. It's part of who they are and what they enjoy, all right? So every dog has a very different play style. Good boy, Frankie. And we want to kind of be able to cater to that, especially in the beginning when we're building our dogs up using food. When we get dogs coming in that have a lower food drive, they're not very appetitive, we have to figure out which one of these things that they like. Like I said, typically when we get those flat dogs, this is what we do is we play the catch with them. Why? Because the food's bouncing off their head. Pretty soon they get interested, like, why does that keep hitting me in the head, right? What is that? What can I do to make that stop, right? And all of a sudden they start snapping at it, right? And all of a sudden they start coming up, right? Notice how Frankie, right? His head's coming up, his body's moving up, right? You can even build a dog up to really, really want to catch that, and they're going to start jumping up for it, right? So every dog's a little bit different in that sense of how we can play with them. Some dogs really, really enjoy this lure part. But boy, I can combine a couple of them, right? I can do this lure part, woo, right? And I can get my dog really interested. And then I can roll it, right? And have my dog go off and do the chase part. So we can add multiple components to each reward cycle that we do, right? So I've got my dog here. Let's just say he's doing the say yes to your dog. He looks at me, yes, right? I can offer a couple different opportunities to earn a reward. So my reward event, not very good at this catch yet. So my reward event, good boy, ready? Is going to be multiple pieces of food. I can't have it be flat. I want to create, oh, good boy. I want to create a memory with my dog of, man, every time I do this, something really awesome and fun happens. And it's not just, good boy, and it's not just this kind of flat, like here's your food, or maybe you even take a step back and you get a piece of food, but it's this whole event that happens, all in honor of the fact that you, yes, paid attention to me, or you did a great obedience routine, right? Or you did a great obedience routine, or, you know, you just were acting well behaved, right? But it's this whole event that happens that follows all of these good things, and your dog becomes super into and engaged, right? If you notice, pretty much all of my dogs, my foster dog Milo, the ones that I've had and that we've done work with, they all really come back and hang out all around me, in my presence. Why is that? It's because they understand that I produce really good things, whether it's food, affection, play, space. I produce those for them. They enjoy it. And it doesn't just happen once. It's not a flat routine, right? It's not this like, here, come get food from me. It's not that exciting, right? Like, yes, you did a good job. It's this whole event that happens, and I can't drill that enough. It's this excitement of, oh my gosh, do I get a run? Do I get a jump? Do I get a catch? Do I get a chase? Right? What's going to happen next? And the dog continually comes back and says, cool, you're fun. Yes, good boy. I like doing stuff with you. What are we doing next? All right? In order to have a dog that truly cares about what you're doing, you have to give them something to truly care about, right? And we can do that in a couple ways, right? We can do that through awesome things that the dog loves, right? Good boy, Frankie, right? Affection, food, yes, you're such a good boy, right? Play, space, or we can do it in things that the dog wants to avoid, all right? So if every time the dog tries to go away from me and I offer a correction, that's another way that we can create a dog that wants to stick with us. But but the motivations for that dog doing such are very, very different. I don't want a dog that wants to stick with me because they enjoy it, they love it, it's something really great for them. Frankie had a huge day earlier today, right? He had a big swimming party with a bunch of other dogs. He's been running around all day like crazy, done training earlier, and yet he's still engaged. He's still excited about working with me, hanging out with me, right? Wanting to see what's next, where we're going, what we're doing. And that's why creating these memories using food in the beginning especially, and these reward events of these creating memories is so powerful for our dogs. So the things that I want you to take away from this Frog Dog Friday episode 7 right now is how to hold food properly, all right? And if you're unsure, take some kibble, right? Roll it around, start with one piece, roll it around in your hand, get very comfortable figuring out how to hold it. Then I want you to start letting your dog just nibble on it. Nibble, 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 nibble. They push into it. As soon as they push hard, yes, say yes. Roll your thumb away after you say yes. Let your dog have that piece of food. Get a little closer. All right? Nibble, 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 nibble. Yes. All right? When they push really hard into your hand, that's what I want to be rewarding. Good boy, Frankie. Right? Now, I can flip my dog around, and notice how I'm generally going in straight lines. I'm coming to you. I'm going away from you. All right? There's components that make this much smoother than just kind of, come get this, I don't know where I'm going. I always have an idea in my mind of where I'm going and where I'm going to end up. So, when I start, good boy, Frankie, I can flip my hand, let him push, push, push. I always end where my leg that's closest to the food, so my left hand, my left leg, are out the furthest. I backtrack, flip my hand around, back, back, back. Now my back leg is furthest because that's where my hand is. And flip forward. Right? Left leg is the furthest out. Yes, good boy. So, that's what I want to play around with. And I can do this without my dog if I'm kind of uncoordinated, which I promise you I used to do before I was really good at this. I practiced a lot without a dog. So, food in my hand, right? Moving forward. Good. Flip, back, flip, forward, flip, back, right? Once you get really good at that, your dog's doing it, you can do it pretty seamlessly. Right? Then you can start adding in different components to the lure part of it, right? Where you can flip your dog, do circles with them. Yeah, good boy, right? A lot of times we kind of like to push the dogs, get them really into it, add a little component of personal play, right? Where they have to work through it and I'm kind of fighting them off, like, oh no, you can't have this. I know you want this food. Good boy, right? Like, you don't get it. Work harder. Come on, right? And they're pushing, they want it, and they're fighting for it. And so we're adding a lot of these different components, yes, good boy, into working with our dogs. Good boy. Thank you, Frankie. And that's how you can create a dog that really continually comes back to you, is always checking in with you, is always interested in what you're doing. And I'm not talking about creating a Velcro dog, but I'm talking about creating an engaged dog, a dog that knows that good things come from you, and I get to just hang out in your presence. Now, he's not annoying when we're home. He's not always trying to push, get in my face, get my attention, but he's always just kind of there hanging out with me. Now, dogs are going to be different. There's independent dogs. There's more clingy dogs. Everyone is going to kind of have their own personality. The more independent dogs are probably going to have a wider range of where they hang out with you. The clingier dogs are probably going to be even more clingy, waiting for something exciting to happen. But that's something that, individually you have to work through with your dogs. So, if you have questions about food play, about how to use food, create motivation with your dog, let me know. Post it in the comments. I might already have comments that I haven't been able to see yet because I've been over here and have nobody behind the camera recording for me. Let me know, and we'll get them answered for you after I hit the end of this video. So, next week, we're going to be doing episode 8. If you guys have any specific topics that you ever want me to cover, like teaching place, how to create a really solid recall, anything along those lines, let me know, and I can definitely put that in the queue as well, now that we're moving on past our Say Yes to Your Dog exercise, the six mini series of that. You know, we can create other ones as well. So I'm always up for taking your suggestions. So let me know if you have questions. If not, I'll see you next week at 5. You guys have a great day.